Grand Rising, everybody. Welcome to Mindset Camp. Let's get this set up going. All right, guys. So welcome in. Happy Friday. My name is Tara, and we are talking about positive messages, different messages. Some are, not. It's all positive, but sometimes we gotta dig through the negative stuff to unpack all of that and get to the positive. So let's see, let me go ahead and pull this up. All right, so today we want to talk about reacting versus responding. That's what we're talking about today, reacting versus responding. Are you reacting or are you responding? This is something that everybody needs to work on. A lot of people need to work on. So what's the difference between reacting and responding? First of all, reacting, it comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of uncertainty. On the other side, responding comes from a place of emotional intelligence. It comes from a place of feeling secure with yourself. Okay, so let's go over some examples of reacting versus responding so that we can learn to respond instead of react, so that we can get better outcomes in our encounters, and so that we avoid conflict as much as possible. It's very important to avoid conflict because the energy that you carry is the energy that you exude. So if you are carrying around the energy of conflict and you're constantly having conflicting thoughts, and you're allowing yourself to be taken out of character by other people in situations, then that puts you in the category of reacting and not responding. So you should definitely listen into the few tips that I have here for you. Okay, so reacting, okay, it's an immediate and emotional reply. Okay, it's popping off. You hear something, you immediately pop off. Okay, it's instinctual. It's learned behavior that takes over. So these are your learned behaviors from things that you've seen in your family, your mother. How your mother is how you are. No matter how much you say, I'll never be like you. Yeah, you like her. You just like her. You the splitting image of your mother. And I see that in my children. I see how they interact with each other, and they're like me. So instincts and learned behaviors take over when you are in the space of reacting and not responding. Okay, no second thought for whether the reaction will have a negative or positive outcome. This is what's happening when we're reacting and not responding. When you are reacting, no second thought for whether the reaction will have a negative or positive outcome will enter your mind. Like, you're not even thinking about, is this, when I respond with this reaction that I'm having, is that going to bring a positive or a negative consequences? You ever said something that you wish you never said? You ever said one thing that totally ruined the relationship between you and who you thought was the love of your life? One thing. You say one thing wrong and it's done. Okay? That's reacting. That's not responding. It's reacting. No second thought for whether the reaction will have a negative or positive outcome. We don't want to be in that space. We want to have more control over ourselves, our responses, and our actions to things. We don't want to let people get an emotional response out of us, because an emotional response is really just a reaction. And reactions are based on instincts and learned behaviors from your past, and not only just from your past. So it's a mixture of all of that. Good morning, William. So it's a mixture of your past, and then, so that's your mother, your father, your upbringing, and then also the friends that you have. You are the company that you keep. So be mindful of the characteristics of your friends, because you take on some of those. You have shared behaviors. You have shared behaviors with your friends, man, for real. Just like I was talking about yesterday with the music and the entertainment, how we start to emulate the music and the entertainment. And it's not on purpose. It's just, that's what we see. You are what you eat. You are what you see. You are what you take in and allow into your body. So with that being said, Reacting comes from a place of fear. It's fear. That's why you are reacting. You ever wanted to know why it is that you are just reacting and you're just popping off? It's coming from a place of fear. So now it's time to dig deeper so that we can see, where does that fear stem from? Once you realize that you're reacting based on fear, why is it that we are reacting? Grand Rising, Chris. So let's talk about some positive responses. How can you be a person that responds instead of reacting? Okay, so this is how you do it, because reacting is insecure, responding is self-secure. Okay, we want to be self-secure people. All right, so you evaluate the situation and slow down. Like, hold on, let me pump the brakes, let me digest what just happened or what you just said, and think about the best way for me to respond to this, not react. Okay, you evaluate the situation and you slow down. That is how you respond instead of react. When you're reacting, it's an immediate and emotional reply. Pop, bam. Like, you ready. You already loaded up, you off of safety, and you ready to fire off. You done already shot. You shot your shot. It's an immediate and emotional reply. Responding, you dial it back. You say, hold on. Let me evaluate the situation and slow down just a sec before I give you my response to this situation, which actually leans into some of the things that we were talking about yesterday as well. So you can identify and become aware of unpleasant or uncomfortable emotions and mindfully select your response. Let me read that one more time, a little slowly. Let's slow down. You can identify and become aware of unpleasant or uncomfortable emotions and mindfully select your response. Okay, so instead of you firing off at the, just going off on somebody or going off at a situation, sometimes it's not even a somebody, sometimes it's just a situation. Like that eviction notice that I got a little over a month and a half ago. And I'm going off. I'm like, no, because this, that, and the other. I done called my lawyer and everything. Come to find out, they're turning the units into efficiencies. So, that was me reacting. That wasn't me slowing down, identifying, becoming aware of the unpleasant and uncomfortable emotions. I was afraid. That is my fear. My fear is to be homeless again. Honestly. So that puts me in a reacting and insecure position. That's the way I responded anyways. Grand Rising, Sophia. So we need to identify and become aware of the unpleasant and uncomfortable emotions. So a situation happens, somebody tell you something, something. Grand Rising, Stephanie. So something happens, whether it's a person or it is just a situation. Okay, we need to identify, okay, I'm afraid. It's because it's coming out of fear. That's what this comes from. That's what reacting comes from, fear. All right, so I'm afraid. I'll use me as an example. I'm afraid of becoming homeless. So that's why I'm reacting to this eviction notice in this way. And I'm trying to pull out all the stop, pull out everything, every trick I got in my bag so that I don't get evicted out of the place that I was living. Okay, so my uncomfortable emotion was the fear. Okay, but then you need to mindfully select your response. So thankfully they dropped off the notice and then they left the office right away, early for the day. So I did have some time to think and be mindful and select my response before I went to the office the next day to talk to them. And then calmed down and found out that they're changing the units into efficiencies. It wasn't anything that I did wrong, and it wasn't any type of discrimination. They wasn't hating on me. So we take things wrong when we're reacting. When we're in a state of reacting, you tend to take things the wrong way. How many times have you gone off and then felt embarrassed because you were wrong about what you went off about? It happens often, and that also comes from ego, feeling egotistical about your position or what it is that you know. We should always try our best to remain humble as much as possible so that we don't assume and make asses out of ourselves. Okay? All right. So also responding, it weighs on the long-term effects. So rather than you popping off and saying something to your boyfriend that you don't mean and that you will likely regret, you actually stop, you think about it, you evaluate the situation, you slow down, you become aware of your emotions, okay? And you think about what emotion you are feeling. And then you're mindful. You mindfully select your response because you're weighing in on the long-term effects. Do I want this man? Do I want to be with this man? Okay? That's what I would think. That's the type of stuff that I think before I respond to him. When he getting on my nerves, when he's doing something that I don't agree with, when he's not doing what it is that I want him to do or what I feel is the best thing that he should do, instead of me coming at him with all these things that I got in my head, my own thoughts, which, ladies, we can sum that up as a bit of delusion when we expect people to do the things that we thinking in our head because they're not in our head. So I'm just going to put that out there. That's a little delusional. But that's something that us women tend to suffer from. It's a part of the feminine makeup. It comes from the planet Venus. All right. So anyways, the next thing is you need to come from a place of love and respect. Because when you think, do I want to be with this person? Like, do I want to keep this relationship? Do I want to stay in this relationship? If you want to stay in that relationship, then you're going to choose the response that is not going to hurt the other person. You're going to choose an honest and truthful response. Because how many times have you been in a situation, in a relationship, where you have popped off and said something to the other person just to one-up them, to hurt their feelings, and then next thing you know, your relationship is over, your friendship is over, and it didn't even have to go that way because you really do not even feel that way. It was the heat of the moment, and you just popped off at the mouth. You were reacting, not responding. Okay, so let's just recap. Okay, reacting. It's an immediate and emotional reply. It's based on instincts and learned behaviors. Okay, it's when your instincts and learned behaviors from your past upbringing take over. Okay, and also your instincts and learned behaviors from what you are taking in visually through your social media and your televisions, your televisions, and then also what you're hearing from the music that you choose to engage in. Okay. All right. Reacting. It allows for no second thought for whether the reaction will have a negative or positive outcome. You are safety off. You are loaded, safety off, and you are firing off at the mouth, and you don't care about, you're not even thinking about the negative or positive outcome of what you are saying. Okay. And it stems from a place of fear. This stems from the place of fear of loss. What are you fearful of? Are you fearful of being embarrassed? Are you fearful of someone showing that they know something that you do not? Are you fearful of, losing something, missing out on something? Where's the fear coming from? You need to identify that. And then switch over to being someone who can respond. When you respond, you evaluate the situation and you slow down. You slow down and you evaluate the situation so that you can identify and become aware of unpleasant and uncomfortable emotions. And you mindfully select your response. Okay? Because you're weighing in on the long-term effects, right? You mindfully select your response because you're weighing in on the long-term effects. Okay. And this comes from a place of love and respect. So when you love and you respect the person, then you want to weigh in on the long-term effects of what you are saying and how you are coming across to this person in response to what just happened. Okay. So think to yourself, do I want to be with this person? Or for me, what I was thinking, because it was my house that I was losing, that was the loss. And the fear that I identified was homelessness. And so then I needed to think, I thought overnight, waiting on that office to open up so I can go and react. I had time to slow down, evaluate the situation. And I asked myself, do I really want to stay in this apartment where People are shooting outside of my door, in my window, and in my parking lot, and they out here showing out, trying to act like they won't be my friend, they want my man, and they out here with the booty shorts walking back and forth in front of us, parking in front of our door, won't leave us alone, twerking and all kind of stuff, drinking. Kids at the park fighting, parents trying to get into it with me. Do I want to live here? No, I don't want to live here. Where do I want to live? Where is it that I want to live? I want to live. I know where I want to live. And I identified that place where I wanted to go. And now I'm living here. Right back in the same zip code, in the place where I wanted to be, in the neighborhood that I wanted to be in. So we need to recognize our emotions and ask ourselves, do we want to remain in this situation? Do we want this person? Do we still want to be in this place? And then once you identify that, then you can go ahead and make a solid decision based on the long-term effects, because you are coming from a place of love and respect for yourself and for everyone else in the situation involved. Let's see what you said there. This is good. How you dissect it down to understand where the fear is coming from. Yeah, we got to understand where this stuff is coming from. So let's see. Let me go ahead and close this up, and let's just, see, can we get like an additional quick little message, something that may go along with what it is that we are talking about here. Okay. Though these times are difficult, they are only a short phase of life. Okay. So even in these situations, like when I was going through all of that in the last month, it really put a damper on a lot of things that I'm doing. It was unexpected. There was nothing that I can do about it, so I couldn't control the situation. And when you can't control something, that also puts you in a state of fear. So in these times of difficulties, right now, a lot of people, most people are going through challenges, okay? Just know that challenges are short-lived. So I will be honest with you. I was terrified going through that situation. I was terrified because rent is double what it was when I moved into the place I just moved out of. Rent was normal. I was there for almost 4 years. And now rent is double what I was paying. So that was a fear that I was going through at that time. Then I was also in a state of, I have a lot of orders and a lot of people placing orders at this time. So what do I do? What is the best decision for me to make going through all of this? For me, I decided to put on my life seatbelt. That's what I do when I don't know what to do and when life throws things at you that you weren't expecting. I'm like, I'm going to put on my life seatbelt and I'm going to drive it through, and I'm going to maintain communication as best as I can with my people, with my followers, my subscribers, and the patrons of my web stores. And that's what I decided to do. And now a whole bunch of people have received their packages. The weight is coming off of my shoulders. People are sending me messages saying that they like the gift that I included in their package. So in times of difficulty, they are only short-lived. It's only a short phase. And when you work out the kinks through your difficulties, when you recognize the problems that you're having and then you set up processes to combat those problems in the future, that's smoothing things out for you. That will help to straighten things out for you. You are on the path, remember? For the past few days, someone was saying redirection, but we don't need to redirect right now. We need to stay on the path that we've been working towards. This is actually not a time for you to go and try to, start something, vastly different from what we are already in alignment with. Okay, recognize the opportunities as they come to you on your path, but stay on your path. It has to be in alignment with what you're already doing, okay? So just know that whatever problem you're going through right now, it is short-lived. It's not forever. Trouble don't last always. Trouble don't last always. Remember that. Those gospel songs, whether you are still a Christian or if you're somebody who is a reformed, no longer a Christian and chose to go a different route, those gospel songs got some good messages and that Bible got some good messages to keep you going. Trouble don't last always. It's short-lived. And when you figure out the solutions to your problems, only then will your life start to really straighten out for you, and you'll get in a position to where life is really just gonna blossom for you. It's gonna blossom for you, and everything that you've been working towards, everything that you want, will come towards you. Everything. Power in new beginnings. Okay. Lafayette Cemetery says these cards have scenes directly here from New Orleans. This is one of our beautiful cemeteries. And this appears to be Marie Laveau. Let's see what these two cards mean. So look them up and see what they mean. Some goddess cards. New Orleans Oracle cards. All right, Lafayette Cemetery, new beginnings. Usually when you hear the word cemetery, it is associated with loss and gloom. However, in every ending, there is also a new beginning. You have picked this card because within your recent difficulties and endings, there is also a very bright new beginning that is more attuned to your highest good. I just said this. It can be easy to get lost in counting the ways things, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. It can be easy to get lost in counting the ways things have fallen apart. But the universe has already begun piecing together the better experience for you. If you're ready to allow it. You got to be ready to allow it. And that comes with being a nice person, having a good disposition, and not being a negative Nancy. You block your blessings when you catch an attitude. Just think about this. Every time you catch an attitude with somebody, you are blocking your blessings. You have just shot down a blessing that was coming to you. You repelled it. Okay? Blessings are repelled by negative, nasty attitudes. Okay? All right. So we'll throw that in. All right. So rather than focus on obvious and negative, it is time to see how you have been released from what has been holding you back and to explore all of the new positive possibilities that have been created by this shift. So if you just went through a scary shift, just like I did recently, went through a scary shift, just know that that's a part of your alignment. This is all a part of your alignment. Okay. Let's see what power has to say, which I really like this. And then also 1 and 2. Okay, so this was card number 1 and card number 2 out of the deck. So also that is alignment. These numbers are going in alignment. This is total alignment. All right, so let's go to power. Okay, Marie Laveau, power. Marie Laveau was the epitome of power and grace within the community of New Orleans. Not only was she known as an astute businesswoman, but she was also the go-to person for spiritual remedies of everyday life. If you have drawn this card, you have been called to embrace all aspects of yourself and to rise to each occasion with confidence. You are so much more than the mundane daily tasks with which you may find yourself bogged down. Oh, Lord, I pulled this card for myself. New opportunities will help you explore the different ways you can express yourself and feel more fulfilled. I hope that this is in alignment with you as well, because this is beautiful opportunities. So we are coming into the season of harvest, like I've said before in another video. We are coming to the season of harvest. And man, life is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. New beginnings and power. So this message was directly in line with exactly what it is that we're talking about. And through these times, though these times are difficult, they are only short-lived. It's just a short phase of your life. So guys, I'm going to leave you with this message right here. I really enjoyed today's session with y'all. This was absolutely amazing. Make sure that we let it flow. 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 You gotta let it flow. Okay? So let's say our mantra before we get out of here, because what are we doing as we go into the world? We're dealing with people. We're dealing with different people who are dealing with stuff. Okay? And that's why they're popping off. But we don't want to be reacting like them. We want to respond correctly so that we get better outcomes, and so that we are a magnet for our blessings, so that we are not blocking our blessings with a negative, nasty attitude. So what's our mantra? I am a person with problems. dealing with people with problems. And I choose to lead with grace. So I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.